Well, Sláinte and good evening. This is a strange one for me. It's the start of the start of the start of of the festival kind of chit chat. And do you know what? I'm just excited to come on board and talk about the festival. So, look, having some technical issues this evening, I just couldn't get myself logged on. So, do me a massive favour, if you can hear me, just say yes in the chat, just so I know that you can hear me, and that's perfectly fine. I'll accept any other comments, but just let me know you can hear me. Yes, that'll be important. Okay. Well, I'm going to say evening to Connor and William. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much, William. Appreciate that. Paul, yes, evening to you too. Shamini, hello. Hope you're well. And indeed, long time no see, Connor. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I know, I'm back in the seat. It's like, it's just, it suits me. It's a Friday night, it suits me just to be relaxed. Evening, David, how are you? Eric, yes, brilliant. And I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, that's important. So tonight is just me launching the festival, because, we are, I suppose we're at the very end, the very end of the planning stage, moving forward to welcoming, people so they can get involved, let people know when, the festival's taking place and what's happening. So, yeah. Mickey, have you seen the price of fuel? Have you seen it? Funnily enough, driving down the road a couple of days ago, I turned around and I says to the wife, look, in August time, I guarantee you we're going to be close to like £1.90 a litre. And she was like, nah, you're talking crap. And genuinely, in the last 3 or 4 days, we've now gone from 140, 160. We're now at 170 at the local petrol station here. So we've gone up nearly 30 something pence in the matter of 3 days. So, mate, don't have the heating on, can't afford it, woolly zippy top on, woolly hat. And I'm actually wearing the woolly hat because I've had it on all day and my hair is, it's just a wee bit messy. So much rather have the hat on today, So no shame in that. Keeps me warm also. But listen, here, great to see people on here. Willie Evans, how are we? Appreciate you for coming on. And yes, as I say, Mickey. So listen, I'm actually going to have a wee dram, so why not? I've got last year's Black Glass, which is dead on. Sure, it's great. Okay, have that. Drink cask strength, central heating for adults. Agreed, Willie. I don't have cask strength tonight. I do, however, have a bottle of the legendary Dark Silky. Now, those that don't know, Sleeve League Distillers producing some great bottles of Silky at the moment. And this 46%, I'm just going to crack it open because I think that a nice wee dram tonight, just for a wee chat, and it's just a wee informal, this is what's happening. I want to make people aware of where we've been and what we've been doing. Put to bed some queries that people may have, and hopefully, look forward to the launches that are coming, So, with that in mind, a little toast to everyone who's coming on tonight. Appreciate you coming, because it's a Friday night. You could be doing absolutely everything else. Most restrictions have gone. So, no doubt everyone's out partying on a Friday evening. So, whatever's in your glass, and I'm just noticing that Connor's saying that he's got the new 2 stacks, the Polaris. Fair enough. Jealous, because I don't. I don't have that yet. Evening, Liam. And Wayne, how are we? Yes, it is a great whiskey. Indeed. Oh, don't say you're sick. Oh, no, God love you, Shamini. God love you. Well, we'll just have to drink for you. Be not well just now, and hopefully you feel better, and we'll just have a wee dram for you. So those that don't know the Silky, and particularly the dark one. Oh, I'm dropping things. Particularly the dark one here. All right, triple distilled peated. Oh, this is good. I'm loving a wee bit of, just a wee bit of smoke. No, it's not. It's not overly powerful. But I just thought, for tonight, something warm, You know, it really does warm you up. Great to see you, Mickey. Mickey, you know why we're on tonight. You know why we're chatting. You want to be on with me, no doubt. And if people want to come on for a wee chat with me later on, you're more than welcome. We can do that, because to be honest, it's just a great opportunity to see so many friendly people coming on. Hi Gareth, how are we? Great. So yeah, look, Belfast Whisky Week 2022. I didn't actually think I'd be saying this. Obviously, back in 2019, I was like, yeah, we're going to do the Whiskey Festival. 2020, yeah, we're going to do it online. 2021, we're going to go mental online. And now we're back to having a festival here in Belfast, a physical festival, a big festival that people can come to and relate to, get acquainted with. So yeah, I'm proper excited for that. So let's just address some 2021 issues, and hopefully people have had a lot of them resolved. There was some issues that we had regarding maybe some product didn't get out to people. Hopefully we've resolved that during the festival. That was something that we're trying to firefight at the time. And then there's been some issues with people getting their refunds for deliveries, and everyone was really patient, in that. And if you've not received it, don't hesitate just to message me personally and just say, listen, can we resolve that? If it's not been resolved already, but I'm confident that we're getting through, and we have got through lots of those kind of issues. But it was very positive, very positive for me, because it was the first time that we went and did something like that. 2020, we took it online, but we did it. We concentrated on, there wasn't that. I was going to say there wasn't that many tastings, but I mean, you reflect upon the two festivals, 2020 and 2021. They were miles apart. I mean, we just went massive. But that online, system that we did, it was great because we got people around the world involved, and but it was a big ask. It was a big onus, and there was a lot of component parts. And actually, just for me to try and run it, madness. And this year we've kind of looked at that and thought, what do we do here? So you're going to see in a little while. You're going to see us advertising out, looking for people to come and get involved in the festival. So we've got some positions that are going to be needed to be filled. We want people to come and support the festival, to work at it, to make it happen, because it generally is big. And we're going to talk about the structure of the festival and what it looks like. So hopefully we get a visualization. People can understand what this festival is going to be. And you'll understand that's why we need such a big team, because it can't just be Paul. It can't be people who genuinely stuck their neck out on the line to make the festivals happen. So it can't be Anthony and Katie at the Irish Whiskey auctions. It can't be them, and it can't be them and the onus on them just to get everything right. It can't be on Jarlath at Ecklandville and the guys down there with, Peter and Graham and Shane, obviously. It can't be on those guys. There has to be other people, and people like Johnny and Stuart in the background who helped out last year, Niall and Louise and then Jason and all those hosts, lots of people. But even still, we need a bigger team. So if you're interested, there'll be jobs that are getting posted out on the Facebook page. You'll see that. It'll also go locally to obviously HR companies here in Belfast, and we will be recruiting. So keep a wee eye on that. If there's jobs that you want to be involved in, or you think that you've got the skill set to get involved in some of the jobs, join. Brilliant. Sure, why not? So I'm going to just quickly read some of these posts. I noticed that Eric says you're going to message me. Appreciate it. Mickey, I've got your number and I appreciate it. And if we can get you here to do some work, Mickey, we'd love that. It would be great. Sinead, I love this idea. Sure, why would you not want to come back? Why would you not want to come back to Ireland? Of course you would. Mickey, don't be so mean. But yes, I think Louise put a hell of an effort in. People like Louise and Grace and Grania. These guys, they just worked so hard for the festival. They made it. They worked terribly hard. Alan, I'm glad you want to come. Peter, how are you? Peter Rogan, good to see you. Connor, I didn't realise that. Yeah, you're going to have some Gaelic, mate. Isn't that stuff so good? Massive fan of it. Yeah. Okay, so Just another couple of wee sips. It is good. This is good. So listen, fair play to Slave League. I know that they've got massive plans right now, and they've just built, their new distillery with all the crowdfunding and all the, hard work of the guys down there. And look, I suppose we're going to just be excited to see their own, the own kind of stuff. This Silky though, this is just too good. Spicy notes, loving it. Spicy fruit, but that just subtle peatiness that comes through. But yes, really, really enjoying that. We're going to do a whole thing on Slave League. We're going to talk about them because to be honest, I don't think we did a Sláinte on them last time. We've got Sláintes happening as a constant. So you'll see that on the Facebook page there's there is a series of Sláintes. They're being penciled in. There will be extras added to that. There's no doubt we'll just add more to it because we want to explore lots of avenues, and particularly lots of brands and new brands that are coming to the festival that haven't been here last year or the year before, and we want to welcome them just like we have in the past. Great to see Andrew. How are you? Hope you're well. Excellent. Eric, you're going to be available in 2024. That's good. That's good news. I'm glad we've got you for 2024. Listen, Connor, we'd love that. It'd be great for you to come up. So let's talk about what it looks like. Let's talk about what the festival looks like. So the dates are very specific. We are the last week in July. That hasn't changed. That's the same for the last 3 years. So last week in July, it ties in, and again, it always ties in around Pride Week here in Belfast. We're the 22nd of July through to the 30th of July. Mickey, I'm going to keep an eye on those comments, of course. You know what I mean? What is the crack, Barry? Hope you're well. But yeah, so 22nd to the 30th of July, 9 days. And again, that hasn't changed. I think in the first year we were 10 days, but 10, but we're 9 and 9, the years before, and we're going to go 9 again. So I want people to think about this. It is a festival. It's not a showcase. It's not a purely an exhibition or turn up and just meet all the brands. It's a festival where people will take part in the city, coming to the city, getting involved in lots of venues, and meeting lots of different people, and meeting people at different venues and experience and whiskey in different ways. Okay, so to give you a brief understanding of what it's going to look like, these 9 days are bookended. Okay, so we already have either end, the first day, which is the Friday, the 22nd, we'll have an introduction, and that'll be, it'll be with whoever wants to be there. It'll just be a lively, come and have a whiskey, celebrate the opening of the festival. It'll be free for all. Just turn up, have a bit of crack, meet people who are involved in the festival. Certainly meet the team. So at that point, we'll meet everyone who's going to be, supporting the festival on the ground. It'll be a chance for our sponsors, for our partners, to be showcased with the media. And then that evening, we'll have our festival dinner. Now, I'm calling it a festival dinner. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be called anything other than that. Is it an awards dinner? No. Will there be awards at it? Yes, but it's not an awards dinner. Is it an industry dinner? No, not specifically. But will the industry be at it? Yes. It's a festival dinner. It's a dinner for the festival that people can come to, and ideally, it's going to be people from the industry that we can recognise, and we want to recognise, people in the industry. So there's so many awards out there for whiskies, and listen, is this the best whiskey I've tasted today? 1000% yes. It wins the award of best whiskey tasted today. But we're not about giving awards for whiskies, and that's not what it's about, because there's so many of them going on the go continuously throughout the year. Really appreciate that people are doing that. We don't want to be, mucking that up. So we will have awards, the industry awards. The nominations will go out. We want people to nominate You'll see nominations being offered out to the public, but they are going to the distilleries first, so they can nominate distilleries and partner organisations, because there's people we want to recognise, and we want to see people being recognised, and it's not just the people making the whiskey. It's the people selling it. It's the people who are the ambassadors. It's the people behind the bars. It's the people, in off licenses. It's the people, maybe it's the transportation guys. There's lots of different. There's the coopers. It's lots of different people are involved in the industry, and we really want that to be respected. So it's a festival dinner. It's a shirt and tie, black tie. Make it as fancy as we can. Why not? Because last year's dinner, and people who came to last year's dinner will understand how good the dinner was. We might have been small in numbers, and that's COVID related, because to be honest, it just dwindled and dwindled. People weren't allowed to travel, they weren't allowed to come. Companies were telling them, no, we're not going to send people to Belfast. So look, I don't care how many people turned up last year. It was all about the food. Every meal that we had, at the dinner was prepared, had some sort of relevance to the whiskies here in Ireland, and it was just great. Every one of those dishes, and people, I know Mickey's in the chat, and I'm sure he can tell you how good his meal was. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It was good. The food was great. The food was absolutely fantastic, and we want to keep doing things like that. We want to keep, we want to keep that theme. It's a festival dinner. Enjoy that. So that's the start of it. It's a festival dinner. There'll be some awards at it. We want people to come up and enjoy themselves. It's a time to relax as well for the people who are going to be doing a lot of work throughout the week. It's going to be a time for them just to have a bit of a calm before the storm, as it were. So yes, and look, thank you very much, Rebecca, and yes, Sinead, hopefully that's what we're going to be, we're going to be looking forward to it. At the very end of the festival, there'll be a small expo. So we're calling it Whiskey Expo in Belfast, and it's a small exhibition of the brands that have been supporting the festival throughout. So, we want people to come to that, support the brands, looking at the legacy of Belfast and the whiskey industry and the heritage which goes along with that. So we really want to. That'll be an interesting day in itself. The Saturday, the 30th, will be an interesting day. It'll be looking at an exposition of whiskey, in Belfast, and really giving them, a thank you, a nod of thanks, allowing people to come round for the crack, and getting again to talk to people. And in between, 7 days in between, what do these 7 days look like? Well, every day during the festival, there's going to be walking tours, so whiskey history walking tours throughout Belfast, and they're being carried out by local guides who we've now commissioned to come in and do pieces of work, which is great. Takes it off our hands. We're going to have people literally coming in and taking people around Belfast, drinking lots of good whiskey, and enjoying the history of whiskey in Belfast. And again, probably just tips and bits and ditties of Belfast and the history it has, because it's not just whiskey history. There's lots of history in Belfast, and you get a good understanding of what the city's about and how it's built up. And that's every day. So people can sign up. People can just they can purchase tickets to go along and take part in those walking tours. And they're on several times a day in the festival. And then we've got Distillery Days. Did I say the word tits? I think I meant titbits, but tits, if it came out very quickly, I'm so sorry, Mickey. So sorry to offend. But yeah, I'm not blaming the whiskey. But yes, Distillery Days. What are Distillery Days? So look, we're very lucky to have in Belfast 0 distilleries at the moment, but we have distilleries round about, and we've got Hinch and we've got Copeland, We've got Radaman Estate, and we've got Ecklandville Estate on our doorstep, and Bushmills, just a little bit further away. Those distilleries, not sure about Bushmills at the moment, and that's a discussion still to have. But these other distilleries are super keen for you to come and see them, and they are close. So we're going to have Distillery Days, events at the distillery where we bus people out from the city. So if you're in Belfast and you're staying in Belfast, or you've travelled up from Dublin and you want to go and explore, we'll take you out, to the distilleries, and you can have some fun out there. And at those distilleries, you're going to get taste of some whiskey, you're going to get some local food, and you're going to get a tour of the distillery and potentially some entertainment. And I think that genuinely, it's going to be a very interesting opportunity. It's going to be a very interesting opportunity for people to literally come to Belfast. Doesn't matter where in the world you're coming from, but to understand that we have distilleries here. We're very, very lucky to have so many in close proximity. And the Distillery Days themselves, protected time. It's protected space for the brands. It's protected space for Ecklandville. It's protected space for Copeland and Hinch and Radaman. And then we've got the brands who genuinely can come to us. Now, people might want to go to Cologne, and that's something we can look at. It's just that we also understand that it's a hell of a long way to Cologne, and also it's a very small space. But if we can fit in, the opportunity to do that, and I'm sure Brendan and Liam and Shane down there will want to have those discussions and see whether or not that's possible. Because I tell you what, if we can do something and it can fit into the festival to get physically down there, great. If not, I want, and then we know that Cologne and Two Stacks are going to be integral to the festival. They always are. They always manage to get a good slot, and they always manage to somehow, pull out trump cards all over the place. Really, really impressed with their input into the festival so far. Brendan's been here since day one, and hat off to him. We might even see their own liquid. Is it bottled? I don't. Is it happening? Potentially this could be a very interesting festival for them. In terms of whiskey. And listen, they've been pulling up trees. They know that they are doing the right kind of thing, and people are loving it. So Distillery Days. So within that 7-day period, there's Distillery Days. There's also, and we can't forget, there's going to be like the Dylan Bass days, where everything is Redbreast and Jameson and Powers and Method and Madness and the MVRs and everything which IDL are just famed for. That's going to be integral to the festival, so we know that that's going to be there, and we're very excited to have those. And yeah, there's probably about, at the moment, scheduled in, we have at least 50 scheduled in, but I can see maybe 50 to 70 different tastings going on throughout the week, throughout the city, in different venues. And what do they look like? Well, they're going to be entry-level tastings. There's going to be some brands that only have their core product that they want to share with you. And that to me is really important. Those core brands that distilleries have, that's their bread and butter, And we've been very lucky that most of the guys with the core brands always come up with something interesting, something unique, something new to think about. But there's brands now, I mean, what do we have? We've got brands that have, and distilleries that are now producing really good whiskey. And if it's not just whiskey, maybe they've got Potchine, maybe they've got new make spirit that they're going to start to show off. So we're going to see that throughout the festival. I think we'll be very lucky to have a lot of the brands that were here last year involved again, and again some new ones. We're chasing down now brands from around the world. We want to see new brands. We want to see new people, new faces also. But we've had a great, and no offence, but we've had a great reception over the last few years. Dublin Liberties Distillery, Boan, Dingle, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? As I say, Sleeve League have put the effort in. People have really made an effort for the festival. I'd love to see a return from Waterford. Of course we would. Love to see JJ Corrie coming back to the festival. There's lots of brands that are there, new ones, the Bailick, that are coming on, that come on board last year. It's just been great to see so many. I think that we are definitely looking at figures last year, we were the largest whiskey festival in the world last year. Whether or not that was accepted about the amount of people that attended, but the amount of people that attended and attended multiple events, just, you know, it blew my mind. You know, we had over 100 events. We went out over 180, sorry, I think it was about 180 hours of online content. You know, the guys that produced the stuff, the guys that did all the work were just blown away by how big that was. That was bigger than any event they've ever done for the likes of Apple, Google, you name a brand that they've worked for. I mean, it's not in the whiskey world, but they've never done anything like that. You know, it was just huge. It was a huge event, and many many plaudits for that. But yes, lots of tastings, and there's lots of tastings there that are specifically for distilleries and for brands from around the world. You know, if we keep up the same kind of levels, what we're at, we're just over 50% of the brands were from Ireland, the rest from different countries. And that was really interesting. It'd be nice to keep it like that, because I think that we're all whiskey enthusiasts, not just with Irish whiskey lovers, but we love whiskey from everywhere. And it's good just to taste, you know, whiskey from different parts. And if we can get people, genuinely, if we can get them coming from Australia, sweet. You know, if we can get them coming from Japan, even better. If we can get them to come from America, we're winning. You know, and it'd be nice to see these brands coming back. Listen, people like Mackmyra, who genuinely put in some grafting last year, festival bottle, no doubt. You know, the Boan bottling, the Mackmyra bottling, you know, obviously Cologne and Ecklandville, fair play to these guys. They're local and they want to keep on showing off what they're doing. But the other two took massive risks, and here, it paid off. I absolutely loved the Whistler. I loved that smokiness, loving the detail to the bottle. And yeah, I mean, a 10-year-old Swedish Mackmyra single malt, couldn't go wrong. And it was just on point. Certainly one of my favourite drams from Mackmyra. So thank you very much. And Mickey, I know you played a big part in that. There's going to be festival bottles. Of course there are. And we've already got some in the bag, so fair play to the at least 5 now distilleries who have said, 5 distilleries have said there's going to be festival bottlings from them, which I think is really good. And the fact that they're going to be Distillery Days, I'm not going to preempt them, but I'm presuming if you're going to be going to the distillery, potentially you could be purchasing some of your festival bottles at those distilleries. Do you know? Mickey, you did have to fight. Get us a Yamazaki session. Why not? We've had Yamazaki in the festival. Yeah, we did that already. You know, and look, we were lucky to have Nika involved, which has been good. And if we can get Nika involved again, why not? Let's have a look. I'm just having a quick one in the chat here. Garth, okay, look, it was a slip if I said that at all. Let's not slip them. Let's just keep them where they are. Could do a 2 stacks Cologne in the new warehouse in Newry. Again, it's not a bad shout. Look, we're 45 minutes down to Newry. We could certainly be doing something, and it's not that we can't be doing it. It's just that myself and Brendan haven't had the time to sit down and thrash that one out yet. So when we do, sure, why not? I can only tell you what has been agreed and what we can do just now, and we haven't had that discussion yet. But will there be an online option, Tommy? It's a good question, and we will come on to that. 100%. It is a very good question. So yeah, are there going to be passes again? I like the randomness of those. Still working my way through the bonus box. Excellent. Again, Rebecca, good question. So look, let's recap on the festival. 9 days long. It's a physical festival. It's 9 days long. There's a dinner, okay, and there's an exposition at the very end. And in between that, we've got Distillery Days. We've got multiple tastings. You know, loads going on every day. Loads and loads of tastings. Walking tours, historical walking tours. Some of those other events that are in the festival aren't necessarily just about tasting. They're about having a bit of fun and connecting. So, for those that want to listen to this, maybe some people will be like, oh my God, this is sacrilege, you can't do this. Well, we are. There'll be blind tastings. So we're going to make sure we've got at least 2 blind tastings in the festival. They're very important. I think they're very important because we're going to use those blind tastings to kind of gauge where people are at. We want to gauge, has the festival allowed people to, engage with their senses, their tastes? So we're going to have some blind tasting. There's obviously going to be lots of pairings. So please keep an eye out of whiskies that are going to be paired with lots of things. So we paired last year with chocolate. We paired last year with donuts. Paired last year with ribs and chicken and food like that. But we're exploring lots of different pairing events that we're going to have throughout the festival. They will be good. There's going to be hands-on events, cocktail making, blending. Doing your own blends. There's going to be there's going to be Q&A sessions. Those Q&A sessions they worked really well in 2019. Maybe online, I'm not sure how well they worked, but the physical ones are really good. You turn up, you get a couple of whiskies, you talk to people, yet get to ask Q&As of maybe distillery owners, maybe they're blenders, maybe they're distillers, maybe they're other people within the industry. So you get to, you get that opportunity, Q&A sessions. One of my favourite ones for this year, and we've been working on this one, and it came from last year as some madness idea, and I've kind of just ran with it because I kind of believe the person that asked the question initially needed some support, but then it garnered pace. So there's going to be a whiskey speed dating. So you've heard that right. It's a whiskey speed dating. Don't get if you're married, it's not for you. It generally is for the single people out there who just want to experience whiskey and experience people's company, and they want to do it speed dating with whiskey. And it was certainly something that came out of last year conversation. I couldn't fit it in last year. I just couldn't. There was just too much going on, and trying to do speed dating online with it, I think would have just killed me. But we're going to do it in physical presence. People can come and do the speed, and it just opens up a different avenue within the festival for people who maybe just don't drink whiskey specifically. So we're tying it in as to pairing up people's tastes, and when you fill in the form to join that session, you're going to be very honest about your about you, and it's a bit like you signing up to a dating service. But look, it is a bit of fun. I think that you could probably get away with being involved and not necessarily looking for a date, just looking for the crack, looking for the whiskey drinkers amongst us. Whiskey and ribs, Rebecca, 100% whiskey and ribs. Yeah, we did a tasting in the Garrick Bar. We had lots of nibblies, and it was all the ribs, all the chicken wings, everything was done with whiskies. It was all done with whiskies and bourbons. It was great. I was just loving it. The chocolate down from Castle Rock, Jerry did an absolutely great job. She just paired off some amazing whiskies, made the chocolates with the whiskies. So we had Bushmills 21, for example, say Gold Forester, I think it was in there. Some really nice chocolates. And again, doing something like that, very important. The donuts, the guys at Guilt Trip, we're making donuts with whiskey and then pairing the taste of whiskey with donuts that we had. Really appreciate that. So we'll look at those things. So lots of specialised tastings. Interesting tastings, just a tasting that you wouldn't necessarily think about, but when it comes to a festival, and this is what this is a festival. It's are we going out our way to make it the biggest festival in the world? No. Are we going out the way to make it the biggest festival in the UK? Not really. Or the biggest one in Ireland? No. But it's doing that itself. It already has its little component parts, which makes it really interesting. It's eclectic. It is. Who or where can you do this? Who in the right mind goes to a festival for whiskey, has the opportunity to nip in and out of 9 days, taste whiskies from all around the world, meet lots of different people, and have such a diverse choice. And that's what this is about. The festival offers a very diverse choice, eclectic. It should have something from everyone. It should have something for everyone. The brands will have their days and they'll have their opportunities. The distilleries will get the opportunity to come and talk to you. What they do, it's going to be up to them. But they have, the door is open to them. to come and do what they want to do, how they engage with you. Look, they've got the whiskey. We know that. What else can they do? How else can they engage with you? The independent tastings, no doubt. I think we've got some great fan clubs, now popping up all over the place. So we know there's going to be a Friends of Bushmills tasting. Everyone knows that. We're going to be here. We're cracking open a Chinese bottle. That has to happen. Do you know what I mean? Why not? Why would we not look at the Causeway Collection and crack open some Chinese bottles? And look, we love to dig deep into the old Bushmills whiskey, so we'll find some old single caskings and some old bottlings. I don't think we've done the 5-year-old at the festival. Maybe we should do that. And then you're going to have we're going to look at the Friends of Middleton group. I know that we're going to definitely do some Old Powers stuff. We'll do some, really nice red breasts. There's lots of single casks out there that we can get our hands on and do some nice independent tastings. The cult. Those that don't know what the cult is, apologies, but the cult will be there, and no doubt we'll have a cult tasting only for cult members. We'll get them along. We've got some interesting stuff that we can do. I don't know, maybe I should tap into my cask for that. I'll ask Brendan, maybe I can get a couple of wee samples out my cask at the distillery. Maybe we can share that for the cult. I don't know. There's just so much going on. Two Stacks Nation definitely will have a role to play. The Ecklandville, Friends of Ecklandville group. These guys, look, it'd be nice to bring some of these little communities together physically, bring them together to a nice little, dinner or a nice little, pairing, and that's what it's about. The festival is about bringing people together. I love the idea of people travelling. Look, if people want to travel, do it. Come to Belfast, make an effort. Our partner hotel group again is the Hastings group. We will have again, a fantastic room rate. People stayed in the hotels. They're great hotels to stay in. Any non-distillery bottle tastings? Connor, elaborate on that. What do you mean? Any non-distillery bottle tastings? You have to elaborate on that one for me, because I don't know what you mean. If you want to come on here and ask the question, just say so. I can send you a link or something. But yeah, broadcasting the cult tasting is a culpable offence. No, not at all. Not at all. We're not going to broadcast it anyway. It's going to be a very closed group, and if you've not drawn blood at that point, how are you getting in? Oh, indie bottlers. Yeah, there'll be indie, of course. But brands. So look, we were great last year. We had Douglas Lang. We had Scotch Malt Whisky Society. Look, I would love to think that we're going to have people like that around the table again. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. Yeah, and the Pogue 1995 is Bushmills. Yes. Oh yeah. When you talk about the Bushmills bottle, mate, listen. I came across. Well, do you know what? Funnily enough, I've come across a couple of really interesting Bushmills bottles. I know that Roger. For those that don't know Roger, I know he has a couple as well. So, of course, yes, I get it, Connor. I get it now. Yes, of course, 1000%. Yes, definitely. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I think he's kind of said that. Yeah, of course. Okay, so where were we? Good questions that came up earlier on. Is there an online element? So I've given you what the physical thing looks like. There is an online element, and that's only because, to be frank, the amount of support that we had from around the world for the festival was unreal. Genuinely unreal. And so humbled by the people around the world. People took big risks in getting involved. I think a lot of people very up, pessimistic at points, and then people just they went out on limbs, and to get product into people's hands, that wasn't me. That was the guys at Irish Whiskey Auctions who were able to get whiskey around the world, dropping into places that genuinely I had no idea we could, and I was so thankful for that. So look, these people around the world who can't make it to Belfast, who physically can't get here, why wouldn't I try and support them and give them an insight into Belfast? And look, again, welcome to Belfast. So there is a taste of the festival pack. I keep an eye on that. Those tickets will go on sale, and they are super limited. They will be limited because what we're not doing is we cannot do every tasting, and we cannot bottle every tasting again. Look, we used 19,000 miniature bottles last year. Plus, it was more than that, but that's that's on an invoice, 19,000, and then we used plus 3,500 boxes. That's a lot of boxes. It's a lot of bottles. It was a lot of into 600 plus whiskies, I think, not 600 plus bottles of whiskey, but way more than that, 600 actual whiskies, I think, something like that, in the grand scheme of things. There's a lot of whiskey. Okay. And I don't think we can do that. I generally don't. I think that the advice that's been given by the people who are very supportive, of the festival, is that just can't happen again. But we can definitely have a taste of the festival pack, which is pretty cool and pretty smart, and should be made available generally to people, first of all, initially if possible, just the people who are outside of Belfast, who are outside of Ireland, really, because to be frank, if you live in Cork or Dublin or Donegal and you're not travelling to Belfast, really? Do you know what I mean? So come to Belfast. If you live in Glasgow, come to Belfast. If you live in London, come to Belfast. But if you live further afield, if you live in America, Australia, some far-flung countries out there, then I understand you might not want to travel. But I do know this, and I'm going to call people out on this one, not individually because you know who you are when I say it, but people travel. They do this. People travel to Dublin. They'll go to Dublin Live, and again, fair play to Celtic and what they do there, and the exhibition's great, and again, unreal. Do you know what I mean? And I love it, and I'll be going, I hope, I pray, I'll be going in June to Dublin. But people travel to that from everywhere, from all over, and I think that's great. You know what I mean? I think that's great. And I think that, why would you not come to Belfast? Because generally we're putting on a show that generally, if you missed it, it's not my fault. We're making it as accessible as possible. But look, there is an online element. We're doing a lot of pre-recorded stuff, so it'll be nice. We're going to go out and, myself and Michael Hooley's, who's our videographer, who did a lot of the videographing for the last few festivals. We'll be going out and we're going to do some, great spots. We'd like to go out and support the brands that have been there from the very start. We'll do little pieces with them. We're going to do individual tastings. So, by the way, keep a wee eye out, and we'll mention it on Sláinte. We're going to mention it to people and tell them where we're going to be because, for example, say if I go out to Ecklandville and we'll do a wee tasting out there, I'm not just going to travel to Ecklandville and just talk to Shane, Peter and Jarlath and Susan, whoever's there. We want, if possible, people want to come down and have a drink with us, and we'll film that and we'll put that as content for the festival. We will do some live streaming. Of course we are. We're going to do some live streaming throughout the festival, but it's not a constant. So do not think that we're going to constantly do a live stream. I'll be honest, the brutal cost of that is something close to, I think it's like £40,000 last year. So if people really want to get that in their head, 40 grand to run the online content last year. Chances are it's not going to happen at all in that kind of style. We will put out some live stuff and we'll do it throughout the festival, and we'll also condense stuff. So everything that we're doing, we're going to try and have it filmed. That's our intention. We will film it and we'll piece it all together and we'll put out some highlight reels every day. Sure, we've got what we're on just now. We're on YouTube and we're on Facebook, and we'll do that. We'll put it out on the social medias and we'll put it out on the Instagrams and we'll let people see that. Do you know what I mean? And people can be part of it in that respect. The taste of the festival pack will be everything that you need. It just won't be us physical in your face drinking with you, but at least you can have some sort of connection to the festival. It will be very good value for money. So again, anyone who bought into the bonus boxes last year, genuinely, if you're still going through it, like most people, you'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate how important the boxes are. And I think for brands to be involved in the box, it's great because people are still talking about it. I get constantly pings on my phone every day. There's not a day since the festival. I guarantee you there's not a day since the festival that I have not had a message on my phone, be it through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it's been, someone saying, having this wee drink tonight, and showing the glass, you know what I mean? Showing the little, bottle. And I'm just like blown away by that because it's just a constant conversation. I've been conscious of the festival, yes, because I'm involved and I'm trying to make it happen. Yeah, I want to keep it going. But there's just people out there who I've never met. We've never met in person, and they're messaging saying, "I'm doing this, I'm doing that," and even in other people's conversations, I noticed there's a lot of product placement, which is really nice. You know, the whiskey glass goes in, and the wee bottles go in, and they're like, "Ah, I'm drinking this tonight," you know, and celebrating, doing such and such. And the bonus box seems to be a gift, a whiskey delight, a gift that just keeps giving, you know, and I've really appreciated that. So, look, the whiskey taste of the festival pass, it will be one to get. I would say it's designed for people who aren't going to be coming, but that's not to say, listen, if you're coming, get the pack because it's going to have some cool things in it. Things to look out for the festival. There's a nice little booklet that will be available for the festival. That will give us the programme, it will give us the different whiskies that are involved. It will give us lots of things that you need for the festival. There'll be like a little map and other such things. So lots of cool things. And it will be around Belfast. People can pick it up. It will be available to lots of people, you know. Yeah, sorry, Sinead. 22nd to the 30th of July. So it's the 22nd, it's a Friday, through to the Saturday, the 30th of July. And yes, it's 9 days. It's bookended with an expo and a dinner to start with, a festival dinner to start with on the Friday. And in between, lots of tastings, 50 to 70 tastings, I presume. Distillery Days, out to the distilleries, buses, and then walking tours around Belfast, historical tours, and lots of cool events. Just events that, you know, you might not think about, or, you know, your first thought would be, is that? So people asked about passes. There'll be daily passes if people want daily passes. There's that. There's going to be weekend passes. There'll be a whole week pass. I doubt many people will want to take the whole 9 days and take the pass, but that's available. We will cater passes, and then you can buy individual tickets for each one of the events. And look, ticket prices will range from £10 plus. So the cheapest ticket that we have, and there'll be lots of these little £10 cheap tickets to invite people into entry-level tastings, to Q&A sessions. You know, these sessions whereby, look, you know, we want to make them as accessible as possible. It's not an expensive festival, never has been. We've never charged more than the cost price of the festival itself. We don't rip people off. I think everyone knows that. I think people get, if there's one comment that's come back continuously, we're value for money. No one should have been ripped off. Even if you had bought lots and lots of product last year and you paid, you know, what is it, you know, what do you call it, post and packaging, Jesus Christ, that was still cheap. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I think people got a good deal. I think that people have realised that, and we're going to keep it the same. We're not going to, you know, we're not going out our way to you know, to take the hand out of people, particularly in the circumstance we're in just now. It's not. We're coming out of a really strange economic crisis that was caused by a pandemic, and we're now going into a slightly stranger one where there's a fuel issue caused by, well, it's now being progressed by, but it was caused by lots of orange, but it's now being progressed by an absolute tragedy across in Ukraine. So, look, you know, we realise that we're in a strange position, but I think that, you know, the festival itself it's geared up to being accessible, and we want it to be, you know, look, we want people to give us some feedback as well, if people have some ideas about it, but that we are really pressing ahead with a festival. And keep in mind that it is, you know, we're still in infancy. This is our fourth festival. We're not the finished item yet, but I think we are. You know, I think people will be very interested to see the plans. Let me just quickly just go back here on some of the points. Kyle Burnside, dream cask, or has it all been rightly consumed? Listen, we could do some dream cask. Look, if a new dream cask comes out, like, this is my honor, my word at this point. If a new dream cask comes out before the festival, then we'll take the dream cask. We'll run with that. We'll drink it. We'll crack it open with other dream casks or other red breasts, and we'll do like a really fantastic session on that. Again, look, I mean, well below cost price on that for those tastings. It was intense last year, Mickey. Of course it was. Beautiful people, yep. Yeah, it's it's and rightly so. If you're in Glasgow and you fly over, well, I think you can get flights usually are about £80 a flight from Glasgow. They are about and they're an hour. You can get the ferry now, so this is an interesting one. You can leave Glasgow in the morning, get the ferry down, or Edinburgh, Dundee, and Glasgow. You can get the bus down. It takes you down to the ferry in the morning. You come over as a foot passenger. You're in the city. Yeah, you're back on the coach and back on the ferry and home that night. Do you know what I mean? You've spent 8 hours in Belfast at the Whiskey Festival, and it has genuinely only cost you £30 to travel. So £30 from Dundee, Edinburgh, Glasgow, on the ferry, doing a wee tour, getting involved with 3 or 4 tastings, boom, back home. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with that. That's a great day out. So let's have a look at that. Yeah. Connor, yes, I met you to sort out your issue during the festival. I drove all the way to Monaghan. 100%. Sure, why would I not? Back to the silky. Dark silky, yes. Thank you. Okay, so Eric, don't be worrying. Online tastings for you. Yeah, look, there will be. And interesting enough, running up to it, if I can support people who still want to be involved. Look, I'm going to be working with lots of different distilleries, running up to the festival and during the festival. And some of these launches, if people want to join in, the dates are in advance. So what I'm going to try and do, the dates are in advance. I'm going to start putting names next to those, brands next to them and distilleries. And if possible, if we can get some whiskies out to people, sure, and they want to join in, or at least what we're going to be drinking in advance, that'll be good. That'll be an interesting opportunity to do that. Yes, Connor. Yeah. So the Paddy's one, I'm not going to do a Paddy's one this year, and I didn't do one at Christmas time. There was, and this sounds really silly, but there's a massive, and there has been. I wasn't able to get this in place in time. There just wasn't enough bottles. So you can ask everyone and their granny right now. You just can't get glass bottles. So we've managed to secure glass bottles for the festival to do the taste of the festival box. It's wild. So I wasn't able to do that, but I have enough bottles to do some small packs to go out to people if they want to join us for some tastings. We can do that. Happy enough to try and support that. Let's have a look. I'm glad that people have. I'm loving it. I'm glad that people have still have the boxes are still going through it. So great to see. For what I got on the vintage Irish and Scotch last year, the cost was cheap as half the price. Yeah. Is that fair? Is that fair? Yeah. Brilliant. Book me and I'll host everything. Mickey, you can't handle everything. We've seen that. We had some people try to do that and they collapsed. Do you know what I mean? And thanks very much, Liam Brogan. Appreciate that. Well, I was just saying, it's only because we're out protesting today. That's a separate story. We're out doing some protests today. So I had my wee hat on and my hair is hat damaged at the moment. So look, that's where we're at. That's the start of it. It's the start of the conversation. I hope people are loving it. If you're not, don't worry. You know how to contact me. Get me on Facebook or whatever. I'm just going to have a wee bite to eat. I'm starving. Yes, Mickey, they are not you. They were not you. So I don't think I've missed anything. You will see tickets, and you will see a scheduling of the festival. Probably, I would suggest probably by about April time. So look, it won't be up immediately, but we are ahead of ourselves from last year. So we're much ahead of ourselves from last year. And I think that we're doing really well in terms of getting this information out just now. Just keep a wee eye out. These launches, they're on constantly. I'm not going to let people down. I'm excited for doing it. But look, any questions, anything, just direct them to me. And here, for those that don't have my number, it's easy enough to come across. I will put it into the chat here just now. Okay, so people can have it. All right. And I'll make it world accessible, because that way that people can contact me if they're from different parts of the world. But look, easy enough to contact me on WhatsApp or whatever, Okay, so here we go. Dave Murrells, yes. I am on the Silky, yes. Oh, wow. Finished up a bottle of the red Silky. Love it. Okay. Dave, it is good. This one here is, I'm on the legendary dark one. So yeah, absolutely love this one. As I say, lovely kind of orchard fruit, spice, smokiness. Goes well with these little donuts. Yeah. Can't go wrong. Connor, I wasn't going to slag you off. I was going to say, well, do you know what? If you thought it was that expensive, fair play. No, but yeah, but they are cheap, eh? It was cheap. So listen, I appreciate that. If anyone wants to come on here just for a chat with me, they're more than welcome. I can stay on for a little bit longer. If you put your hand up, I can put the link in here. 2 seconds. Let's see if I can do that just now. Copy. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Like, if people want to come on for the crack, sure, why not? But look, I'm done giving it my wee message. Kit, what are you saying? Have your eyebrows joined? Is that a sign of something? I'm not really. Hold on. I've always had this. I've had this since I was a child. One of these kind of bits of the hair growth. To be honest, I probably need to. Yeah, probably need to get, what's that word? Yeah, I probably need to go to my hairdresser. Although my actual hairdresser has now retired, so he's gone. He retired during COVID, and he's gone. So I've got a new guy, one of our football players. He's what's that? Yeah, he's like a fancy Portuguese hairstylist. So hold on, I've got Connor and David. Do the two of you want to come on live, or do you want to just chat to me afterwards? Yeah, because I can come off this and just chat after. After, yes. Okay, right. Listen, everyone else. Yes, Sláinte, good night. Cheers. Thank you very much. Okay. Go ahead, Connor. Well, hold on. Let's bring it. Hold on. Connor, are we on here?
Oh, fuck, we are. Wait, is the Facebook stream?
You'll have to sort out your volume a little bit. Well, go to the toilet. Go ahead. Francis, yes, thank you very much. Right. Good night indeed. Okay. I'm going to end the broadcast. David, you're all right. I'll just end the broadcast and we can just chat. Yeah. Good lad.